It's an off day for the Chicago Cubs today, but that does not stop us from doing Chicago Cubs Central and talking about our favorite team. We're going to do injury reports and another trade idea. All right. What's going on, everybody? It's another episode of Chicago Cubs Central. Hey, guys, this is your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I appreciate each and every last one of you that have tuned in or are tuning into this episode. Hey, listen, if you are here and this is your very first time, my name is Mike Jones. Thank you so much, first and foremost, for viewing this video. Secondly, I do need you to like, share, and subscribe to this network. Listen, the Chicago Cubs Central channel is growing strong. The C3 fam is growing by the day, and you don't want to miss an opportunity to be a part of this. That's right. This is your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. And listen, this is the spot. This is the place to be. So I appreciate each and every last one of you that are tuning in and watching the Chicago Cubs with me. It's been such a fun season so far. We are almost a quarter of the way through, and the Chicago Cubs right now sit atop not just the NL Central. They have the best record in the National League as of right now. So again, these Chicago Cubs, man, they are just doing the damn thing, and it's so fun to watch. So exciting. And again, like I said, this is just a microcosm of what happens when you make smart trades and when you put your team in position to win and you give Craig Counsell the pieces he needs to win. I think this is by far one of the best teams. I think Craig Counsell will tell you that too. This is by far one of the best teams he has managed. And he's managed some very good Brewer teams. I mean, I'm not gonna say his first season with the Cubs, they was all right. But he's managed some very good Brewer teams, some very, very stacked talent-wise Brewer teams. But I think when it's all said and done, this may be one of his favorite teams that he has managed in his career. I mean, because like I said, you got a budding PCA, you have a Kyle Tucker that's already a superstar. You got Dansby Swanson coming back into form. You got, like I said, your pitchers doing their thing. And again, the Chicago Cubs aren't even fully healthy right now. We are still without Shota Imanaga, one of the best pitchers in baseball. That's right, I said it. Shota Imanaga, they're one of the best pitchers in baseball, which leads me to the first point of today's episode. Today's episode, we would do an injury update as far as Porter Hodge, Shota Imanaga, Tyson Miller, and Javier Assad. I bet you guys forgot Javier Assad even played for this team. That's right. Javier Assad is actually a Chicago Cub, and it is not a lost season for him yet. That's right. Porter Hodge was the first one up, and he left oblique. He left his left oblique strain, which landed him on the 15-day DL injured list. Basically, it's kind of resolved. The Cubs manager Craig Counsell said on Saturday morning. However, we still cannot expect Porter Hodge back anytime soon. Why? Because Porter Hodge is now dealing with a left hip impingement and likely will require a minor league rehab assignment before joining the big league team. So Porter Hodge is still struggling through injuries, trying to figure it out. Craig Counsell had this to say. He said, "We're good on the oblique. So we're trying to get through that right now, um, and making progress and hope to be at the bullpen stage next. But because of the time he's missed, he'll definitely require a rehab outing. Again, he wants to make sure that his closer is sharp. And the Chicago Cubs, for what it's worth, are taking advantage right now of having uh, of having Daniel Palencia be their closer. Daniel Palencia has done a fine job closing games for the Chicago Cubs. He closed Saturday against the Cincinnati Reds, and he did a fine job at it. Again, also you got to look at Ryan Presley is kind of coming back into form a little bit too. So again, you do have options as far as coming out of your bullpen. You still got Brad Keller. You still got Ryan Brazier. Like I said, the Chicago Cubs are figuring it out with these bullpen arms. And we'll talk more about those bullpen arms in a second. But like I said, he is still trying to figure things out. Like I said, his breakthrough campaign was the 2024 season where he posted a 1.88 ERA in 39 games. Again, his numbers this season haven't been as sharp. He sports a 5.12 ERA and 19.1 innings across 21 games. but that number is a tad bit inflated since the 11 earned runs he's allowed have been concentrated across 4 outings. So, um, like I said, the Chicago Cubs are still figuring out what to do with this bullpen and trying to get things together. And it just takes time. Like I said, you got Danny Palencia, you got Drew Pomerantz, you got Brad Keller, you have Ryan Brazier back. You have so many guys that are able to come out of that bullpen, which again, can we just give some credit to Jed on the fact that the Chicago Cubs bullpen has literally been rebuilt on the fly. And it's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good bullpen right now. But next, let's talk about another piece that I know we're all worried about, and that is our ace, Shota Imanaga. Shota Imanaga threw a bullpen session Saturday. If he comes out of that healthy, the expectation is the left-hander will face live batters at Cubs spring training facility in Mesa, Arizona. Imanaga has been out since May 5th with a left hamstring strain, and counsel previously stated that the Aces return would be well into June. Imanaga probably would have to build back up after his lengthy absence and require a few rehab outings before returning to the majors. So again, we're still looking at a little bit of time before we see Shota. It'll probably be into the middle to the end of June before we see Shota Imanaga. Now again, Javier Assad. He's continued to play catch as he works back from a left oblique strain. He originally suffered the injury at the start of the spring training, began the season on the 15-day IL, and then had a rehab assignment in mid-April. During that stint, the injury flared back up, and he was transferred to the 60-day IL injured list at the end of April. So he is still recuperating. Get better, get well soon, Javier Assad. Tyson Miller. Miller continues his rehab assignment with the Iowa Cubs. The right-hander originally landed on the IL with a left hip impingement on March 25th. He was hit by a comebacker during his rehab assignment and transferred to the 60-day DL, 60-day IL on May 13th, clearing a 40-man roster spot for top prospect Moises Ballesteros. And then last but not least, Eli Morgan, who has a right elbow impingement, is at the Cubs complex in Mesa and in the bullpen stage of his rehab. The right-hander was in the Cubs opening day bullpen and had a 12.27 ERA in 7 appearances before landing on the injured list. So Eli Morgan has work to do to be ready to go for the Chicago Cubs. So again, that's your injury report list. Obviously, like I said, Kyle Tucker is day to day. I do expect Kyle Tucker to probably play. If not Tuesday, he might sit out Tuesday, but I definitely think he'll probably play Wednesday, especially if the Cubs lose Tuesday, going up against the Washington Nationals. Now, with that being said, let's talk about that because that is our next topic. The Chicago Cubs do travel to Washington to play against the Washington Nationals in the next 3. That's right. Tuesday at 5:45, Wednesday at 5:45, and Thursday at 5:45. All 3 of those games. The Chicago Cubs are looking at Cade Horton going up against I believe that is Trevor Williams. And Trevor Williams is right-hand pitcher. Trevor Williams is 3-5 on the season with a 5.69 ERA. Cade Horton is 2-0 with a 3.98 ERA. So the Chicago Cubs are looking to go ahead and take advantage of the Washington Nationals. But hey, listen, don't count the Washington Nationals out because I'll tell you guys what, James Wood has been a revelation this year. He has 16 home runs, 44 RBIs, and an OPS of 9.952. So he leads the Washington Nationals in every statistical category as far as hitters go. So he is somebody to look out for. He is not a joke, not a game at all. He will be looking to do damage in this series. So we look at Wednesday's matchup. It will be Matthew Boyd, who is 5-2 on the season with a 3.08 ERA, going up against Mackenzie Gore, who is 2-5 with a 3.16 ERA. Looking forward to the Cubs hopefully taking advantage of both of those games, taking advantage of both of those starting pitchers, because then we go to Thursday, and Thursday's starter is undecided as of right now, but you have Colin Ray, who could potentially be the starter, or they could start with a bullpen and then bring Colin Ray out afterwards. But Colin Ray is 3-2 with a 3.96 ERA, and then he will be going up against Jake Irvin, who is 5-1 for the Washington Nationals with a 3.93 ERA. So again, these are going to be some tough matchups for the Chicago Cubs. They should be able to take the first two. That last one that might be a struggle. That Thursday game might be a struggle, and then of course after that they will see the Tigers on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they will be off to Philadelphia to play in their series finale against the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies, they'll do 3 games against them, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then after that you got 4 games with the Pittsburgh Pirates coming to Chicago, June 15th, 14th, 13th, and 12th. So that is a schedule update for you. I do expect Chicago Cubs to take full advantage of the Nationals, of the Phillies, and probably and definitely of the Pirates also. So, like I said, a lot of winnable games there, a lot of opportunity to bolster their record. Again, like I said, they may struggle with the Detroit Tigers because the Detroit Tigers are a very good team this year. I'm excited to see that series and see the Cubs go up against that competition, especially our good friend Javier Baez. So tell me below, what do you think about the Chicago Cubs Washington National Series? Should we sweep them? Will we win 1 game? Will we win 2 games? I need to know below in the comments. And last but not least, let's talk about the trade speculation. Well, Mike, what do you mean when you say trade speculation? Like I said, the Chicago Cubs right now are second in the major leagues in runs with 340 and are in first place in the National League Central. Like I said, the Cubs do have their sights set on a postseason berth for the first time since 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic shortened season length to 60 games. Naturally, the Cubs are one of the teams that should be heavily involved in trade discussions at this year, July 31st deadline, especially for help in the starting rotation. So what does that mean, Mike? What are they looking at? Well, the Chicago Cubs have often, and I've even done an episode about it, about Chicago Cubs potentially looking at uh Sandy Alcantara as a potential player they could trade for. However, what if the Chicago Cubs were to pivot to former Padre, become a Miami Marlin, Ryan Weathers? The Chicago Cubs have seen Ryan Weathers twice this season, and Ryan Weathers went the distance both times with the Chicago Cubs. So, like I said, the Chicago Cubs know him very well. And again, like I said, he is somebody. Uh, he is the de facto ace right now. His improved fastball velocity has allowed the former top prospect to break out in a major way. The Marlins could retain the 25-year-old as a foundational piece for their rebuild, but President of Baseball Operations Peter Bendix has a track record of flipping established talent for prospect capital. Weathers began the year on the injured list due to a left flexor strain, but has performed well after a rehab assignment in AAA Jacksonville in April. He's allowed 2 earned runs in his first 3 starts of the season with the Marlins, and opposing hitters are batting just 185 against his 4-seam fastball, a pitch he throws for an average velocity of 97.5 miles per hour. So adding Weathers to the Cubs rotation would allow manager Craig Counsell to return Ben Brown to the bullpen, and he will be extra insurance in case Shota Imanaga or Javier Assad suffer setbacks during their recovery process. So right now, when you look at Ryan Weathers, he boasts a win-loss record of 1-1. He has an ERA of 2.49. He has 22 strikeouts and a 1.02 whip. Like I said, his most recent game was against the San Francisco Giants. They did end up losing that game, but that's because they don't have any run support. He had 7 strikeouts, 3 walks, 4 earned runs. So I guess all earned runs were his. And he pitched 6 innings for the Marlins. So my question of the day to you: would you want to see Ryan Weathers on the Chicago Cubs? Do you think he is somebody that could potentially help the Cubs be a better team? So I need to know from you guys in the comment section below. Please let me know. And then, of course, as always, make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe, as well as leave a voicemail at 217-816-5498 or cubsbaseball1992@gmail.com. Listen, guys, I appreciate each and every last one of you for tuning in. I thank you all so much. Until next time, go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.